Okay. How do I do that? Participants. Okay. Got some sausage here. Okay, that's fine.
Hi, everybody. I just get ready to talk and somebody else pops in. So people will be popping in as they need to here. So I appreciate you spending another evening together. You know, we try to keep these to about an hour, but sometimes I go to an hour and a half. If you need to stop and have dinner, we don't mind you eating or cooking while we do this. It's the way life goes. There you go, Terry. So to recap a little bit, the prior two meetings have been posted on the State Grange YouTube channel. They went available publicly at 4 o'clock today. So you should be able to pull those up and go through them as you want to. And the other thing that I did is in the chat, I put the Word document of the order of business. And, you know, for your own use and everything, if you want to change bills and accounts to treasurer's report, that's fine. Just keep it in the same place so that we have that standardized order of business. But, you know, we all use different terms these days. Life has changed. So.
Is that on the YouTube channel?
No, the order of business is not. I put it in the chat as a Word document, so you should be able to download it.
Lillian, you know me on the computer.
I will email it to everyone as well, okay?
Thank you.
Hey, I'm better at the computer.
My files.
I'm better at the computer than Joseph is, so, you know, it works. Mom?
Well, the information that Susan sends when you print it out
Mhm.
is so tiny that you can't scan it to, it was all a blur.
Oh,
So,
okay, we'll have to look at that. She was trying to keep it, I know, to, one piece of paper, but
right,
sometimes we can't always do that.
right. I
So,
figured out something. So,
okay, that's good. So, many of you know that I have a special needs daughter, and tonight she is restless and she's up and moving. And so if you hear background noise, it's her. So she's now decided to sweep. And that's okay. I don't mind if she's sweeping. So, but she'll also chat and sing, and she's just, that's just my life, and it's okay. I'm perfectly happy with it.
it's perfectly fine with us.
Totally understand. I have a special needs daughter as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we did talk about that, Amana. I remember. Yeah. So background noise doesn't bother me. I have no problem with it. I am able to, split my ear, and you listen for the emergencies out of one ear, and you can talk to everybody with the other one. So, but last night we talked about the minutes and taking them and what should be in them, and we had a good lengthy discussion about it. So lengthy that we didn't talk about the retention of records and what we need to do. So tonight is kind of part 2 from last night, and then some other points that I want to bring up, as well as any of your questions that you might have on procedures. Whether we've talked about it before or not, it's fine. I don't mind covering it again. So I'm going to share my screen here. I want you to see the actual California Corporation Code that says what is supposed to be retained. Granges are corporations. We are private corporations, and we are fraternal organizations primarily, but we are corporations, and we have to operate within corporate law. So the section, I don't like to interpret the law, so I put the actual text here for you to see. And you can look it up. So this is for a nonprofit, California corporations. You shall keep, your adequate and correct books and records of accounts. So you need to keep your financial records, but then the IRS timelines apply on that as well. So for some records, it's 7 years, for some it's 3 years. So you need to be in compliance there. You keep your minutes of the proceedings of its members, boards and committees of the board. Grange doesn't have boards, but we do have our regular meetings. And so those minutes are kept. You keep all of them forever. They are not destroyed. And so these days we have electronics. At the state office, when Granges have closed and we've had to pick up all of their documents, we have boxes and boxes and boxes of minute books that we have kept. We're looking at a way to scan them, and scanning them is another way to keep them, but at the same time, you have to have them, you have to have those scans stored in essentially 2 places. One where you can use them, and the other where it's an archive. With our electronic records nowadays, again, you need to have a backup to a backup. So you keep all of your minutes. You also have to keep a record of your members, giving their names, addresses, and the class of membership held by each. Now, the class of membership for us in the Grange is, when we talked about it at our first meeting, that's the fraternal, the family, the junior 1+, and the associates. That's all called a class of membership. So on your rolls, you're keeping them, but the state office is also keeping them. And the other things that you have to keep is it doesn't outline it here, it's a different section, but you have to keep your bylaws, your articles of incorporation, And if you have your own tax exemption as a 501c8, you have to keep that declaration letter from the IRS. And most Granges do not or should not have a 501c3. You should be using the California State Grange Foundation. And the distinction is any Grange that is a 501c3, which they should not be, cannot be involved in legislative activities. 501c3 means you are only a charitable foundation. So that's why the State Grange has a separate one, and the community Granges can use that to pass money through. So anybody have questions about that?
Yes.
Jenny, go ahead.
So, I've been working with a few Granges and two of them do have a 501c3. And I'm telling them, and I think I've heard this from Susan, I'm trying to get this clear. If they have a 501c3, they have to have a separate board or entity to deal with that. The records have to be kept separate. Is that correct?
It is a separate corporation. This is why the California State Grange has the Grange, and then
Right.
we have the foundation, and the foundation does have its own board and officers. In fact, Tamara Myers is on tonight, and she's the secretary of the State Grange Foundation. So it is two completely different corporations.
Right.
You're tied together because you're Grange, but they have to be run separately. So separate books, separate officers, separate minutes.
Okay.
You
Thank you.
cannot be solely a 501c3.
Right.
So as a 501c8 fraternal mutual benefit, you can have a 501c3, but there is so much reporting that you have to do that it is so much easier to use the State Granges. Much, much easier.
Thank you.
So, okay. So,
Is there a way to get a copy of your letter of incorporation?
How these things work.
the articles of incorporation,
That's it. Okay.
yes, those can be requested through either the State Grange has a copy of them, or they can be requested through the California Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
But we've tried to collect as many of those as we could and have them available. So do you need a copy of those, Shirley?
Yeah, because when we joined, there was only 4 active members and they've all passed away. While we were still trying to figure out what it is we do.
Yeah. So some of the original articles of incorporation have members' names in there that they were the first established board. However, you don't edit those articles of incorporation. They've been updated as things go along. So that's where the SI 100 comes into play. You're updating every 2 years as to who the officers are. So
Okay, so the next time you're down at the State Grange office, could you see if we have one?
yeah, I'm going to check. We scanned a lot of those.
And us too, please.
Yes. Yeah. So we will get those for you. The reason that we try to keep everything, I'm going to get to you in just a second, Jenny.
No
The reason
problem.
we try to keep everything scanned at the state office is because we know that Granges go through natural disasters. And having those original records there is, sometimes that's the only copy. So we are happy to have those scanned and hold them. So essentially, it's kind of like having in law enforcement, it's called a master case record. Everything is in one spot. So we try to do that for the Granges and have those available so that you're not having to hunt through closets and did that go with so-and-so or did it go there? And so having those original records is important, but also having a backup everything. So Jenny, you had a question?
Yes. Well, when I talked with Susan Hanks about using the 501c3 number, the
Mhm.
EIN number. She said that, and this is what I'm trying to understand, is that we send a request, like we can't use the number and send a thank you note. It goes to the, sorry, I'm hearing a back,
There we go.
okay, so, that we send, it has to go through the foundation, so the foundation will send a thank you note with the 501c3 number. Is that correct?
What Susan told you is what needs to be done. So
Okay.
there's very clear established procedures now with the foundation, when and how a Grange can use it. There has to be an agreement. So all of those questions need to go to Susan. I cannot answer them anymore.
Okay,
My brain does not hold all that. Susan's brain has to hold all that right now. So
It-
any
it makes
clarification
total
has to go through
sense.
her. Yeah,
it makes total sense. I'm just putting that out there so that even if we have the EIN number, we're supposed to make sure that it goes through the,
you have to have, and Tamara, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to have a letter of agreement with the foundation in
yes.
order to have your funds pass through. So check with Tamara and Susan on all that, but
That is correct.
is available. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Tamara. So check with them. They are the experts. And my old joke about being an expert, it has been drip under pressure. So there you go. But your records, again, we are happy at the State Grange to have scanned copies of your records. We have brought all of the State Grange or the California
Thanks.
state records procedures into the state office now, so that Susan is handling the SI 100s, any Granges that are out of compliance. She's helping to get back into compliance on all of the Granges that we have so far. We have changed the agent for service to the California State Grange, so that the State Grange knows if anything hasn't been filed or taken care of, and then we work with the Grange. So at this last convention, the delegates voted for the State Grange, for any of the Granges that take in under $50,000 a year, the State Grange will file your state and federal tax reports. And so that is in the office. We want to make sure, we've had so many where there was a longtime secretary who knew what to do. All of a sudden they're not there. Nobody knew what to do, and the Granges were losing their tax exemptions. So this is a way to make sure that everybody is keeping up, and there's no fee for that. Terry?
Is the insurance money going to be claimed as income? So we're going to have to pay taxes on that money?
You're a tax exempt organization.
Okay.
So we aren't paying taxes on it. We have to file that we have it, or that it came in, or however it's being used. So
Okay.
you have to file a tax report, but there's no taxes. If you
Okay.
lose your tax exemption, you will be paying taxes on it. So that's why we're staying on top of that now.
Okay.
So it's very important. And another quick note about original records: when we were putting the Granges back together and Granges were trying to get into compliance, we had to review their original records. And so I had 2 different Granges. I had their records at my house when we had to evacuate in the 2018 fire. And we packed everything we could. We had absolutely no time left. And there were the 2 bags sitting there, and Bill looked at me and I looked at him, and we said, why not? And we threw them in the car. And to this day, one of the Grange secretaries still brings me flowers every time she sees me, because we saved their records. These are really important to have. If you have records in your home, they need to go back to the Grange. The secretaries are not supposed to be retaining all of those records where nobody else knows where they are. And we cannot be the gatekeeper of those records. They need to be available. Any member can look at them anytime. And when Granges are putting together their anniversary programs or something, they like to go back into the minutes and see where they spent $25 $25 on this item. And it's fun to hear the stories that come out of there. So make sure that you are not the only one who knows where things are. You need
Hey, Lillian, I have a question.
Yes, Linda?
It's actually Nina.
Oh, hi, this is Nina,
Oh,
lecturer.
Nina, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't have a camera on. Yeah, I'm lecturer at Scott Valley Grange. I have a quick question for you. The
Yes,
4 types of members, I know fraternal and family members vote at meetings, but do associate and junior members vote at the regular meeting?
associate members do not vote. So they have no vote, they have no voice. They are essentially, they just support the organization. The junior 1+ is age 13 and younger. And they don't have a vote, but if they raise their hands, don't tell them to put it down. This is an opportunity for them to participate in the meeting. They may even have something to say. So allow them to talk. And we have to teach them step by step what to do. And if they want to make a motion, you know, it could be their motion, but another member can say, I support that. So it becomes an actual motion. But teach the kids and, you know, let them substitute as an officer one night. They get a big kick out of doing that. So it's a lot of fun. Terry?
So this week we are voting to fill the 2 offices that were left vacant.
Mhm.
How many people have to be at the meeting to vote?
A quorum for a meeting is 7.
7,
7 voting members.
besides myself.
No, a total of 7. So you and 6 more.
Okay, perfect.
That constitutes a quorum.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So any questions on record retention and what you should keep? Okay. As we said before, if you don't write it down, it doesn't happen.
Hey Lillian, in the chat, somebody asked, because they can't do audio or video. I take my minutes in my notebook in my own writing. Do those need to be kept after the minutes are typed?
No, they do not. Once the minutes are typed up, the notes go away. Sorry, I gotta see if I can find my chat button here somewhere. I had it last night. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. I found it. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this. Yeah, I'm very bad at the chat and I apologize when I'm sharing a screen.
Lillian?
Yes. Hi, Joe.
Hi, I just had a question. So I created a Google Drive
Mhm.
and I've put our meeting minutes there, agendas, and it's available for all members to access. And if they are no longer members, then I remove their access. Is that okay? Or do
Yeah.
the paper copies still need to go into the Grange?
Just what the code says that they need to be converted into legible documents if you need them. So
Okay.
they're on Google Drive. I would still back them up electronically somewhere. And
Okay.
members have access to it, so that works.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, I'm caught up in the chat. So thank you for your patience with me on that. So another thing I wanted to talk about really quick is membership. I didn't cover this the other night, but membership, maybe you've been reporting all along and then all of a sudden there's a gap for whatever reason. And you haven't reported for 3 quarters and you decide to go ahead and do that, but you want to drop 10 members in that 2 quarters back and then come forward and pay reduced dues. The problem with that is the California State Grange is paying on those members to national, whether they've been reported or not. If you want to make any changes or reductions, then you have to make a request to the State Grange Executive Committee. And they have to review it and look at it and decide if we can or cannot. They have to vote on it. And so the way the timing works is the first quarter ended March 31st. Granges have until April 30th to report. And then I have until May 31st to get everything into national. So if you come back in June and go, well, we didn't report on the first quarter or the fourth quarter from last year, and we want to drop all these people, I can't give you the permission to do that, and I can't reduce what you need to pay. That has to be done by the executive committee. So we've tried to make it so that you can report as soon as possible. I've also found that there may be a glitch in our system somewhere, because I've had 2 Granges say, I've sent things in to have these, these members added and these members dropped, but they're not on the list you just gave me. So I'm reaching out to them and saying, how did you send it in? So I'm trying to figure out if there's a glitch in the state office and how this and the way we've been doing everything. And that happens. Sometimes when you update your computer, there may be a filter on there that now you can't receive emails with attachments. Maybe it got mailed in, maybe it never got there. So I'm asking them to let me know when that happened, how did they send it in, and then send me the updated information, because I will make those changes just as quickly as I can. What I'm doing right now is I am going through all of the documents that I have from Granges, making sure all those changes have been made. I'm doing an audit of every Grange. That's why I'm a little bit slow getting some of this information back to you. And I'm making sure all that's there. So once you get it, if you see errors, let me know and I will get them fixed. So again, and then if your Grange has run into financial issues and you can't pay, say you owe 3 or 4 quarters and you can't pay it, you have to make a request to the State Grange Executive Committee. There's a procedure that you have to use. You reach out to Joseph, tell him what the issue is, he'll send you the procedure, and then you move forward. But it has to be a vote of the Grange to ask if your dues can be deferred. You have to provide, this is very loose, I don't have the actual procedure in front of me right now, but you have to provide bank statements for all of your accounts and everything else to, for the hardship. And so we try to work with the Granges as much as possible. And if you need a list of your Grange members, I'm getting that asked in the chat. I can email that to you. So if you want to put your email in the chat, or you just email me and say, I need the updated member roster. Also, as I'm doing all this work, you get a acknowledgement back that has all the members on it. So especially if I've made any changes, I send that back to you. And then, because everything is hand typed, we don't have the an electronic way to do this yet, but it's coming. So I am not perfect and I make typo errors. And sometimes if things are handwritten, you don't always see what was intended. So the more that you can use the online form where things are typed, it's much easier. So, so I have Grover City, Lockford, Woodbridge, and who else needs it? So, and that's the other thing. The State Grange office takes their information from you to create the membership list. So I understand when things get, sometimes things go a little bit upside down and getting a copy of it is necessary. So, but I send it to the secretary and the president. because more than one person needs to know about it. Anything else that you want to talk about or think of or that I haven't covered? Terry?
I'm sorry. We just have so much going on right now with the new secretary. We're trying to pick up, we got no paperwork. We basically got the stamp for the bank and that's about it. So yes, I would like the list.
Okay.
Can we schedule a time with you since you're close that we could maybe meet and figure out how to get all this stuff together? I can bring our laptop and our new secretary and and we can come and get this all together so we're not one of those that's going to be like behind.
Yes, definitely. I'm happy to do that. Terry.
Okay.
So we can set that
Because
up.
I know that we got like this little list that was just from the first meeting,
Mhm.
of people that signed, but I have no, you know what I'm saying.
I am happy to sit down with you, no problem.
Okay, perfect. I'll get together with her. We have to vote her in first, so.
That would be helpful. So what else can we talk about?
Can I say something?
Of course
I
will.
was not able to attend the last two meetings, but my cohorts were, and they said that you were a wealth of information and truly enjoyed this venue and this opportunity to have dialogue and learn more. So thank you.
I am happy to do this. I'm happy to do this anytime. Would it benefit everyone if we did this like once a quarter?
Yes.
Just a little checkup chat and see what's going on and answer questions?
This is Linda from Scott Valley. I do have a question. Are there going to be trainings for the other officers that are like this? Because these 3 trainings, the last 2 especially, have been extremely helpful to me to figure out everything that I need to do.
Okay, I love to train, and part of my background in law enforcement is I'm called what is called a post master instructor. I develop trainings for leadership and I develop trainings for law enforcement, but it can be translated anywhere. So I'm happy to put on more trainings. And what priorities would you like? What would you like first?
I know that our treasurer asked if she would love to do something like this. And then I just think that our Grange overall, we would like to maybe just have more information.
Okay.
And I'm going to share the YouTube stuff with everybody, but being able to ask our own questions, I think is helpful.
It is. I actually like to do this more of a live training. It's a lot different, and you get more dialogue back and forth. It's hard to do with Zoom, but we can start with Zoom. And a lot of you may have attended the Empower to Thrive workshops that we had this last year. We have another series that we're planning for this coming year. And as I said, I love to develop training and different things that we need to do. So, so training for the treasurer specifically, and then maybe leadership for the presidents, the vice presidents, and the executive committees. Yep. And then another one, and anybody can attend these. Please understand that. But the focus would be on that. And then we would do the more ceremonial officers and what they do. So yeah, we can put this together. Great. Yeah, that would not be a problem. Be happy to do that.
Lillian, I have a couple of questions. Well, actually, they're related, and that is the financial responsibilities of the secretary. It sure seems like it overlaps too much with the treasurer, like handling of money and paying of bills. I don't want to do that.
It's called checks and balances.
Yes.
So it's more than one person has oversight on the finances.
Well, I agree with that. But I don't want to be the primary source. I want to be the checker, not the balance, or the balancer, not the, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. You want to be the backup, not the primary.
Yeah. I want to be looking over the shoulder, not the shoulder being looked over.
Okay. So how are you doing it in your Grange right now?
Well, we kind of have a mix since we had that meeting with the gal from Ono and Susan. And when they said that the money has to come in through me and then into Barb, our treasurer. And so we do that at the meetings. So our vice president handles all of our rental income, which is 99% of our income. Other than dues, that's our income.
Okay.
So she hands me a handwritten piece of paper with the information on it, which I already have anyway. It doesn't make any difference. But then she gives the money directly to Barb, and everybody there watches the money being transferred and counted. And of course, Barb records it in detail in her report. And we have a goofy setup that I tried to get fixed, but it's another one that we've been doing that since 1837, and we're not going to change. So the money from the previous month gets passed to the treasurer at the current meeting. So we're always a month late with that accounting, and I can't get them to change. So anyway, it's just awkward when I start putting my minutes together. I literally have to have two sections, one for past month's income and one for the current. But anyway, that's not a problem. I do it.
Okay.
But I don't want to have to receive bills and then pass them on to Barb to get paid. And in fact, it even says here, receive all bills from the treasurer and issue payment. I'm not going to pay bills. I don't have anything to do with that.
No, you don't issue payment. The treasurer issues the payment.
That's not what it says here.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at partial list of secretary duties from the secretary's handbook.
Okay, I will take a look at that.
I mean, Barb's doing a really good job of very careful accounting and telling tales out of school. I actually have a parallel tracking, but I'm not supposed to do that. They said everybody will quit if they know I'm doing it, but you didn't hear that from me.
Nope, not a word. So, Don, I will take a look at the secretary's handbook and see if we can make that more clear. And at the same time, I will work with Susan and have her put together a training for the treasurers.
Yeah, so there's two bullet items. One says receive all monies, record them, and transfer them to the treasurer for deposit. So we're doing that, kind of a direct handoff. But anyway, but receiving bills and paying is, I ain't going to do it.
I'm on board about not making so like we had an event on Sunday and the money's at what would be the Grange. The money sits there in the file cabinet and it doesn't get deposited until later. And that kind of bothers me too, kind of like along the lines that he's at. So it's like a month behind on the state.
That's exactly the situation that we have. That money sits in the vice president's house until the next meeting.
Okay.
And to me, it ought to get deposited and then recorded, and then it gets presented at the meeting, but it's not going to happen that way. Yeah. It would cause a nuclear fallout.
It should not be sitting in anyone's house for any length of time.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
It should be.
I mean, in our case, that's the only situation. The only answer to the situation is to be here.
Yeah, you're so far out.
Well, I mean, because we don't have a Grange, so we have to keep it here at my house.
Right, but somebody should be depositing that.
Right, that day, right?
That day or the next. It shouldn't be sitting in anybody's house.
And that's my same thoughts, but it doesn't. It's over. I feel like we're getting a bad habit already on that.
Yeah, no, someone should be tasked, the treasurer or the secretary should be tasked with depositing those funds, or someone from the executive committee, so that they know who is taking it to the bank and it's been counted, it's taken to the bank, the receipt matches whatever the count was, so that everybody is protected. But it should not be sitting in anybody's house.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is trying to get them to get a PO box. Right now, mail is going to people that are dead and all the rest of it. And no, that's not, we don't want to have to go to the post office every day. We don't have to, but anyway, it's hard to get anybody to change.
That's why I don't want to start bad habits.
Yeah. So, yeah, and establishing a PO box is not a bad practice. It is a good practice. As long as you know who has the keys and who doesn't have the keys and who is going to go and pick it up. We have one Grange in a community that there is no mail to street addresses. It is all to the post office box. And so what I do is I will actually give them a heads up when I can. Hey, I just mailed some things to your PO box, and then they know somebody needs to go and get it, because that's what happens. People forget, they don't want to go, and it sits there for 2 months sometimes. So you just have to establish those practices. That's where the policies that you can write for your Grange comes into effect. You can write a policy on mail, who's going to go get it, how it's going to be handled. So. Any other questions that you want to talk about?
Can you back up to, you said about the, like the 1, 2, 3 year member, who needs to be on the bank account?
Whoever is on your SI 100, which is your president, your secretary, and your treasurer, they should be on the bank account.
Okay.
You can add additional people
Okay.
but it has to be a motion in your Grange of who the check signers are going to be and has access. And that has to be taken to the bank anytime you want to add or take off signers.
Okay.
So you have to have that motion. And it has to reflect in the minutes, because banks.
Lillian, does the secretary have to be on the bank account? That's something else I don't want to.
It is best practices. You are a corporate officer, and this way the corporate officers are on the bank accounts.
It would actually have an advantage, because right now, well, I don't want to go into what I'm doing, but like I say, it caused a lot of friction because anyway, there was a lot of complaints about me looking over the shoulder, but I literally made an app that's an accounting spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to start using it in my own small business, because QuickBooks just went up to $1,780 a year.
Ouch.
So
Yeah.
I want to use it. And this thing worked out really well. So, but anyway, and I keep it up. Joe helps me get this stuff over. But if I was on the account, I could have the authority, the responsibility to do that, and nobody could complain about it. So,
Right.
Okay.
So we recommend strongly that the corporate officers are on the bank account. And then when you have a change in officers, you need to change the SI 100 and you need to change the bank account.
Okay.
And we've had some Granges that never changed the bank account, and there was only one surviving person, and they were 90 years old.
Oh, it sounds like our Grange. I'm 80,
Yeah.
young guy.
So, it gets a little scary. There's been bank accounts out there with substantial funds in it for Granges that, to start up again. And it was like minutes before we were going to lose that for those Granges. And Susan has been very good about hunting that down. And
Since we're a long time to our next meeting, is this something I could ask the executive committee to get together and get me added on the bank account, or should I just work with the treasurer and with the president? How should I go about this?
you need to have that. Was there already a motion in the meeting to put you on the bank account?
No.
Okay, there needs to be a motion in your meeting to put you on the bank account, make you a check signer, and then those minutes have to go to the bank.
Okay.
So we can't really do it as an executive committee motion.
Okay. So I definitely, yeah, no worries. I can do that.
Okay. All right. Joe, you have a question?
What is the SI 100?
Okay. The SI 100 is the Secretary of State form that has to be filed every 2 years, and it's done electronically. And on it is listed it's your corporate number, the name of the Grange, and then the 3 main officers, the president, the secretary, and the treasurer. And then you have what's called the agent for service. And that used to be the president or the secretary. The California State Grange is a registered agent for service for all of the Granges in California. And so when we do them, we add that. because the agent for service is notified if there's any issues with the corporation, something's expiring, something is, falling off the radar. And then we are now tasked by the delegates to make sure those reports are taken care of.
How could I get a copy of the Ramona SI 100?
You go to the Secretary of State website, you do a business search and type in Ramona Grange, and it will bring up your corporation. You click into it and you can go into history. It'll be over on the right-hand side. And you go into history, you click that, it'll give you a list of all the documents that are there and the latest SI 100 that's on file. And it's a PDF, it's free. You can open it up and print it.
So I'm going to the Secretary of State website.
Yes, California Secretary of State Business Search.
Thank you. Business search. Okay. And then could you talk through the process of receiving money? So for example, every Thursday we have a farmer's market and the vendors pay their fees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to get the money?
You'd have two people need to count it.
Okay.
And then whoever is tasked to go to the bank with that. So it can be you, it can be the treasurer, but somebody has to take it to the bank.
Yes, we have that process, but I didn't realize two people have to count it. Okay.
Oh yeah, always two people count.
Okay.
Never let money out of an event or a haul or even your petty cash unless two people have counted it.
Usually it's so it's one person, the market manager writes it down, cash received. It's a list of cash received. Is that counted as one?
Yeah, that's only one person. You have to have
And
another
then-
person count that money.
And then and then I do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always have
We're
two
good.
people.
We're doing it okay.
It's for everyone's protection.
Okay. And then can you talk through the process of orders to the treasurer for payment?
Right, so that's where the bills come to the secretary. They create the orders to the treasurer. Here's the list of the bills that need to be paid. Give that to the treasurer pays the bills. They go through, see everything, essentially sign off, yes, I got these, they get paid. And so that way the secretary knows what's being paid and the treasurer knows what's being paid.
Okay, thank you.
So, Molly, did you have a question?
Yes. So on the Secretary of State, the SI 100, we change officers every year. We just changed president every year and kept the secretary and treasurer. So we technically need to go in there and up it each year before the 2-year max or requirement.
Yes, every time you change officers, yeah, even if it's annually, you need to go in and make that change.
Okay, thank you.
And then if the State Grange, see, the other reason that the State Grange is the agent for service, if somebody decides to sue your Grange, then we get a notice of it so that we're ahead of the game and not behind it. But there's a lot of reasons to have that backup from the State Grange. And then if we, if somebody calls up about something, we'll pull up the SI 100 to see who the most current officers are, because we're not always told who the current ones are. And so we want to make sure that we know who's who.
And do the process to go in and look for it. Can I change it there or find a form to
Yes,
file?
there's a way to do it. You go into it and I think it's up at the top. It says SI 100 and you can click on that and you can update the information.
Okay, thank you.
But just leave the California State Grange as the agent for service. Don't change that.
So if someone was to sue the Grange, you get notified. How do we know?
Well, your Grange would be served first, but they would serve everybody on that list. They would serve the president, the secretary, the treasurer, and they would do the agent for service.
Okay.
They want to make sure everybody knows you're getting sued. So, but fortunately, those are few and far between, and we want to keep it that way. Any other topics you want to talk about tonight? I hope you all got your grant applications in. So,
Yesterday.
good. Yeah.
So, Lillian, Mary Friedrich, it said that there's, she has no video or audio, so Lillian doesn't know my question.
Oh, I'm coming. Grant membership.
Was
Robert's
718.
Okay. When I get a deposit for an event, I fill out a receipt for the client. Is it okay to deposit it and give a copy of that deposit and receipt to the treasurer? Yes. Get it out of your hands as quickly as possible and put it in the bank. Again, just make sure 2 people have counted it before it leaves. Yes, Terry.
So when we do a market, we should give the person who paid us a receipt, so that lists where the money came from. Okay.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yes, you should be. You're not too far down the road. It's okay. These are all procedures that, you know, when you're starting out, it's just something you haven't thought about yet,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Can you back up? I just heard when we have a market, we have to give a receipt. Sorry.
Should you, so if you are having vendors there,
Yes.
you should give them a receipt for their vendor fee that day.
Oh.
Right?
You should.
Oh.
Should. That way you know how many, you know, so you sold 20 tables and then you go to put the money in and you realize there's only enough cash there or whatever for 15. How do you know where that money went for those other 5?
I have the vendors fill out a contract releasing us of any liability. And then on there, I put how much they gave me.
Okay.
So I don't give them an actuality. I don't give them a receipt, but I have a receipt of who paid what.
As long as you've written it down.
Perfect.
Somewhere.
Okay.
So, but again, you have a contract. Other Granges don't have a contract. They're just collecting money from the vendors that day. So it just kind of depends on how you have it. Write it down. If you don't write it down, it didn't happen.
Right.
I cannot say that strongly enough.
Being a vendor, I realize how much that contract comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of things go awry.
Mm-hmm. You know, and
I have a
like
question.
Yes, Letitia.
Okay, I've been waiting, but
Hi, sorry.
and I was waiting for you to recognize me, but it's very difficult. Well, we have rummage sales, and anytime I receive any amount, whether it's in cash, no matter how it's tendered, cash, check, I give the person a receipt, and I write a note on the receipt what it's for, why I received it with my initial, and that I hand over to the secretary, and then the secretary gives the order to the treasurer. And that's just to cover my butt that this is where this money's from. And I didn't know the procedures. I kind of knew the procedures. And now as a president, we had some issues where I lost my secretary and treasurer and they just didn't get it. So I'm back to my trusty old well-seasoned treasurer and secretary. So we'll get back on the ball. But the new issue is that we commenced renting out the hall. And I'm the agent because we don't have an agent. So as a president, I affect the contracts. And what I ask is for an amount for the rental for whatever, you know, the amount of time, et cetera, and a separate check. I always ask, I prefer a check or money order, a cashier's check or money order for the deposit. Now, in order to refund the deposit, I was informed that I had to have that voted on to return the money. And that kind of takes a long time. It'll be a month or more.
So,
to do that at a meeting.
okay,
So
so
is there a way of doing a policy or setting up something and have that work through the meeting so that everybody understands how we are handling rentals?
you
Is there a
would,
guide?
you would need to set up a rental policy
Uh-huh,
that the members vote on.
right?
And then your rental chairman, whoever that would be, would
Okay,
follow that policy.
okay,
So, and some have it in their contract already, how the deposit's going to be returned. And so you have to work out those details, and you can come in with, your building, your rental committee could come up with a policy that you bring to the Grange, and then
right,
they work through the details.
okay.
Starting from
Do you-
scratch at a meeting is really hard.
oh, no, yeah, I know. I'm trying to get people to come into committees, but they don't want to. They like to hash it out and get into drama. But we're trying to cure them of that.
Right.
And we'll make it. You know, it's not, it's not the old fashioned grain. It's a new grain and let's be a little bit more let's work faster and smarter in committee and just bring the goodies to the table for everybody to go through,
Right.
approve or not.
Yeah.
So question, do you the State Grange have a guide or any samples? I know they have a rental agreement in the masters for the president's manual that I'm using, but do they have any other guides that I would, instead of recreating the will?
As far as policies, so Chico Grange has most of their policies on how everything's going to do in the contract itself. And
Uh-huh.
you can probably get that from their website or
Okay,
their Facebook page.
is that very successful? Are they successful with that?
Yes, they have been very successful.
Okay, I'm gonna steal it.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. What
So-
did we learn in our meeting? So if you to take it, steal it, or whatever it was, you had to say it. I don't remember
Instead of R&D, meaning research and development, it means rip off and duplicate.
that
I
one.
love it.
Okay, rip off and duplicate. That's what I'm doing. Thank you very much.
Okay.
When
Has a
we do our
question.
rental contracts, it's a four copies, so that we have one that's always like at the Grange in a binder. So if I can't be there, someone could see everything's been paid.
Mhm.
And so I'm the secretary, so I have a copy, the treasurer has a copy, and the client has a copy.
Mhm.
So everyone has a copy of that. We also have a checkout list, so they know what's expected of them if they want their deposit back. Do these things. You don't do anything. If I happen to come there early, I might mention, hey, you didn't take the trash out of the bathroom because I don't want to. So, all these things.
Mhm.
And then we have, like, I consider it a cover sheet, but it's to cover everything. So it has the dates of, when we received the deposit. We expect 10 days prior that you pay your rent and
Right.
your insurance and
Yeah.
who the insurance company is. And then we have treasurer's notes and secretary's notes. And on my secretary's notes, if you've done everything and if you need a copy, I'd be more than happy to do it, because it's like, did they
Bless you.
clean did they get out of the hall on time? Because I'll charge you for 15 minutes if you're late. So I have all the things there, and then in my notes I put down, is it going to be a full or a partial deposit that's refunded? If it's a partial, I'll say, deposit was 500 and your late fee of, a half an hour was equal to this. So minus this, or any damage or missing items, here's what is the end result of what you're going to cut that check for.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
then we have a letter that we send out to the customer telling them, here's your breakdown of this was your deposit. These are any charges we may charge against it. And there's your final amount and the check number, so that if I drop dead, if you came back through that paperwork, you'd know exactly what happened with that whole document. So it's like from birth to death, that document is there, and we will not, if so when I took it back over, trying to understand what someone else's mentality was if they had to cancel a date and reschedule it to a different date. Trying to figure all that out. No, it's you killed that one, we make a new one. I want it that everything is in that, not that I have to go back and figure out what year you did this in and stuff and how many times you carried over the deposit. It's like you start it, you end it. If it cancels, it cancels. Everything goes back. If you need to start over, it starts fresh.
Okay, good.
Sister
information.
Shirley, Mr. Shirley, are you willing to give a copy? You know, give us a copy, because I'm just starting, and I'm learning each time I rent out the hall, and I should have done it this way. I should have done that. There's a lot of improvement. You know, there's room for improvement, and I recognize that. But I'd rather R&D. So
No,
can I argue and do?
Yeah, the contract I got from I think it was either Lily and Susan that gave us the contract, and we just kind of altered a few things because we have a 2-story building. Most people have a single story, and you know what we offer, you know, in our contract. But I'm more than happy because I mean I have had absolutely no problem since I took it back over, because it's amazing how people will, even though you have something set in process, they take it over. Not that I chose to, but I had a heart attack, so it kind of threw me off there. They took it over, and then they run out of copies of the contract and don't know how. You know, you don't just make a photocopy of it and then you have 3 different versions of it on the same date, and you have no idea, different amounts. We have everything set down so that if somebody else was to take over, these are our rates. We don't sit there and alter our rates. The only rate difference is if you're a member in good standing and you've, you know, helped out with either the crab feed or whatever, you'll get your 50% discount.
Letitia's email is in the chat, and go ahead and do that. And you could probably share your policy with her at the same time. That might help.
That's exactly what I want, the wind down, like the exit, how you finish after they've left and how you send them their deposit.
We're getting off topic. And
sorry.
I know rentals are difficult. We're getting off topic, but Shirley has good information. And Shirley, if you actually want to send it to me, I can share it out as well.
Okay, not a problem. I have it all written down so that.
Okay. Ginny has a question, and then I've got another couple of questions in the chat.
Lillian, quickly on this topic, are we talking about the sample rental agreement that's in the President's Handbook?
Yes, that's one, but there's others I think that Joseph has had as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
So what I was going to say, this is Ginny, and what I was going to say is when we were reorganizing Granges, it was a pretty exciting and informative asking other Granges if we could have copies of their rental agreements, and you'll learn the doggonedest things, and you'll get to know other Granges. And then when you come up with a problem, I mean, we all have to communicate with one another. So when you come up with an issue, you can count on it that probably another Grange has had that same issue and they found a great solution. So if we all just share and remember that all of our halls are different.
Definitely. So Mary from Bachelor Valley has a question. When we change our rental agreement, does it need to be approved at a general meeting? Yes, it should. Your policies, procedures should all be at a approved at a meeting. And everybody knows, and it's in your minutes, that this version is now the one that everyone's using. So up earlier in the chat, Rusty asked about how do you handle orders to the treasurer when you have our utility bills on autopay? You list it on there. You just list it, and you can put on there it's autopay, but you list the amount, so it's written down. Mary also says that there's money that does not go through her, which is donations for events. It's brought up at the general meeting on the amount. So, and shouldn't all money go through the secretary? Best practice is that it goes through the secretary. Second best practice is that 2 people know about it and somebody got it into the bank. So, you know, is the secretary of your Grange making all the deposits, or does it just go through to the treasurer to make the deposit? But if there's donations that are being received, because I know there's been some really great things going on at Bachelor Valley. So you're going to have to smooth out that system a little bit. But if it doesn't go through you, then you should at least be getting that deposit slip that it went to the bank so that you know what happens. If you're at the event, yes, it should go through your hands, and it can go from your hands to the treasurer who goes to the bank. So, but more than one person needs to see it, and more than one person needs to know about it. And again, that's for everybody. Does anyone have a renter in a trailer at their Grange? That is problematic. And there have been some very difficult situations about that. So if you do have a renter in a trailer at your Grange Hall, you need to make sure, I'm not giving you legal advice, you need to make sure that it fits with the city or county ordinances. You need to make sure that you have an ironclad lease agreement with them. And you need to make sure that they are, part of that is keeping up appearances. What are they storing there? What are they keeping there? And and if you are putting them in there as a caretaker, then you need to find out if they are actually an employee and getting rent for free, or how that agreement's going to work. So you really need to do your homework before that happens. And don't just let it happen. Make sure there's paperwork. So, and yes, you can do a background check on them. However, what kind of background check are you doing? Typically, the Granges are not set up to receive fingerprint backgrounds from the Department of Justice. And so it depends on what kind of background check it is. You need to have that. People can actually ask, I don't know if a lot of people know this, you can actually apply to get your own fingerprint rap sheet and see what's on it. It used to cost $25 plus the fingerprint fee. I don't know what fees DOJ is charging now, but you can request your own background, your own rap sheet. You can see what's on it. So, and churches renting a hall. Again, you need to have a very, very good lease agreement with them as to what's happening and what's not. Chico Grange has had a long standing agreement with a church. There have been other Granges that have been taken over by a church, and that is not okay. Not okay at all. So Joseph has actually had to have several churches evicted from Grange halls. So we protect the Grange property, but also Granges who don't have a hall are just as successful as Granges that do. You don't have to have a hall to be successful. And some of our halls are getting to the point that the deferred maintenance is just so huge, you have to start making decisions as to what to do. And they're historic, they are beautiful, but you know, you have to be able to take care of them. So, and believe me, the foundation is always looking for grants for Granges for repair, etc. Tamara's husband, Antonio, I'm sorry, his last name just went out of my head. I apologize. Antonio is a contractor, and what he is doing, he's actually traveling with her, and they'll go to a Grange, and they've asked for advice, and he'll take a look around and say, okay, these are the things that I see that need to be done. And then he'll help and give advice to the Granges. So right now he's the special assistant to the state president. But we're trying to put together resources to help Granges because we know how difficult this is. We've worked a long time to keep the Granges where they are and help them improve in the communities. And so that's what we're trying to do. And hopefully no more burn down.
No. Lillian, I found out something today at a different meeting I was at that through Butte County, which I would assume that it is with other counties, there's a form, it's called a no trespassing form that you can fill out that gives the sheriff's department authorization to arrest people who are trespassing on your property.
Mhm. Yes, most sheriff's departments will do that. I don't know how many city departments do that, but most sheriff's departments have the no trespassing letter. And you have filled it out. You've told these people to stay away. You filled it out, their names and everything. It's on file with the sheriff's office. And if those people show up, they can be arrested for trespassing.
Well, I was told as long as you have the no trespassing signs on your property, it could be anybody, not just one particular person.
It depends on the county.
Okay.
Some are specific to a person and some are specific to anybody. So it depends on the county rules. You have to double check with them.
Yeah. I thought that was very helpful to get that today.
It is. So, okay. Any other questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, Joe, go for it.
So in writing a thank you donation letter, is there specific information that needs to be on that letter?
Are you talking about a donation that went through the foundation, or are you talking about just a donation to your Grange?
A donation to the Grange, like somebody donated air conditioning unit.
Okay, are they looking for a tax write-off?
Yes, I believe.
Then you need to contact Susan and ask her what to do.
Okay, thank
Okay?
you.
Yep. So I don't play in that pond very much.
Okay.
I ask her for help when I need it.
But it's the secretary's responsibility, correct? Or is it the treasurer's?
All communication goes through the secretary.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it is typically your responsibility.
Okay,
But
thank you.
find out from Susan and or Tamara, either one, how to do that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I have Susan's email, but I don't have Tamara's.
It's on the State Grange Foundation website.
Okay.
So they have a contact page on that.
What's Tamara's last name?
Myers.
Myers. Thank you.
Yeah, Myers. Two more messages here. Appliances in the Grange Hall to be gotten rid of, can we get rid of without approval? Your members make that decision. It's not up to the State Grange. So if your members say get rid of them, throw them out, donate them, whatever, it's up to your members. Okay, well, we've been at this for a little while, and I will also get this up on our YouTube page tomorrow morning. So please go there, look them over, see if there's any other questions you have. I will definitely take it to heart about getting some other training put together for the treasurer, as well as
The president.
admin groups, and get this out there. And then hopefully we'll get to do some in-person stuff too. That's the favorite.
I'll call
part.
you.
Okay, no problem. And please feel free, I can't travel everywhere, but I can certainly make an effort to, if we're going to be in the area, I'm definitely going to reach out to Granges and say, let's do something. And I'm happy to go up into Northern California. I'd love to come to Anderson, Mount Lassen Grange. I would love to, I'd love to go to a lot of places. I truly enjoy going to Bachelor Valley. That's a lot of fun. And, but yeah, And then
Hopefully the next time you come to Berry Creek will be our groundbreaking.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I would love to be there for that. So, but I'm in Yuba City and I can travel, you know, sometimes I bring Kaylin with me and sometimes I don't. She stays with her sister, but happy to help, happy to answer questions.
Yeah, you can bring your daughter anytime, Lillian.
I will do that. I will do that, definitely. My sister-in-law lives in Palo Cedro, so we have to go visit her too.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, that's just a stone's throw from you.
Yeah.
Mhm. So anyway, I truly appreciate your time and being here and asking questions, because if you had the questions, somebody else does too. And please feel free to reach out anytime. I will set up these on a quarterly basis this next year. I've told you that I am retiring as a state secretary in October, but I will be available to mentor and help and just be there. But yeah, it's time for me to step aside, train my replacement, and have some fun. This is fun. I mean, don't take that the wrong way, but it's time for me to step aside. So, but I will set up at least 2 more of these before that happens. And the next one, we may talk about convention and delegates and what needs to be done there as well. So, but I'll put these together. Okay.
Thank you, Lillian. I appreciate you so much.
No problem. I appreciate all of you. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Lillian.
Thanks, Lillian.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Good night.